Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Hero Critic, an expanding comic community. Today I would like to talk about Thor Ragnarok and possible storylines that could play a part in the Infinity War movie or in future films in the MCU. So I just had the opportunity to see this film, and I must admit, Thor Ragnarok met and exceeded my expectations. The threaded storylines that were introduced in the previous films were well orchestrated in Ragnarok and gave plenty of laughter to the audiences at some of the bleakest moments. If you have yet to see this film but don't mind any spoilers, then please feel free to continue. But if you want to check out the film first and then join the discussion later, then you might want to pause the video right here. Also check out Thor number 350 to 353 to read up on the Ragnarok story, as well as the Planet Hulk comic event. Alright, so let's continue. Now, half of Thor Ragnarok takes place in the world of Sakaar, which is home to an ancient civilization of scavenging aliens that live off of space waste, which is deposited through numerous wormholes that surround the planet. You can almost compare it to a sewer, a polar opposite of the colorful land of Asgard. In the land of Sakaar, the Grand Master is the leader of this world and is fascinated with games and gladiator battles. He is an immortal elder and has spent millions and millions of years of his existence studying games and combat. During the trailer, we see several giant monuments on the tower in Sakaar that we think acted as a palace for the Grand Master and his victors. The monuments display some of the popular Marvel characters such as Beta Ray Bill and Man-Thing. Beta Ray Bill is a fairly powerful character in the Marvel Universe that does not have a tremendous amount of appearances, but when he is present, he is a force to reckon with. He was first introduced during the Bronze Age of comic books as the first being outside of the Norse bloodline who was worthy enough to wield Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. After an altercation broke out between Thor and Beta Ray Bill over who was to carry the hammer, Odin created a different hammer and gifted it to Beta Ray Bill after he defeated Thor in battle. This hammer was known as the Stormbreaker. Another monument we can easily distinguish is to the Man-Thing, a fairly large and slow creature that had been created after biochemist Theodore Sallis was running from enemies who were after the super soldier serum that had been used to create Captain America. In hopes of protecting himself from his enemies, Sallis injects himself with the serum, but after crashing into a nearby swamp, his cells mutated and he transformed into a swamp creature. It seems his Man-Thing has managed to travel far from his home in the Florida Everglades, but I'm sure we can all agree that the future appearance of either victors in the Marvel Cinematic Universe would be a welcomed appearance from the audience. In Thor Ragnarok, we also found out that Thor has an estranged sister who is the Asgardian goddess of death and ruler of Hell. Hell with one L. By the end of the film, we also know that Hela has been defeated by Thor's strategic use of Surtur's hellbent desire on destroying Asgard. Hela was stated to have drawn her powers from Asgard. So was the destruction of Asgard also the end of Hela? We see in the movie that she proclaims herself to be the goddess of death, so is she death herself? It's a good question to ask. If so, would her character have another part to play in the Infinity Wars? As we know from Thanos' origin stories, he is madly in love with death and does everything in his power to please her. If you want to see it for yourself, just check out any Thanos origin story or check out Thor Unworthy number 5 and Mighty Thor number 700, where the relationship between Hela and Thanos first appears. In Unworthy Thor number 5, we see a romantic bond develop between the two, and in the Mighty Thor 700, audiences can find Thanos approaching Hela with a way to get her home back. Now during the credits, audiences were able to see the spaceship the Asgardians and other passengers escaped on, confronted by a mysterious ship. Apparently, this ship is rumored to be the Sanctuary 2, a ship that belongs to Thanos. Maybe Thanos was on his way to meet Hela, or maybe an encounter between the two will take place in the future. One thing we do know that although the passengers on the ship the Asgardians were on is in danger. During the D23 event footage of the Avengers Infinity War, it is revealed to the audience that Thor encounters the Guardians of the Galaxy seconds after they stumble upon debris of what looks like to be a recent battle. We theorize that the encounter of the ship and the post-credit scenes of Thor Ragnarok hint toward the start of a failed battle between Thanos' forces. So if the battle does occur, that means that the fate of the last Valkyrie, Heimdall, Korg, Meek, Bruce Banner, and the surviving Asgardians are all at risk. Perhaps some of the passengers will die, maybe some of them will escape or even be taken prisoner. Regardless of the outcome, this will be quite an interesting scene, since we can assume Loki and or Heimdall possess the Tesseract and maybe even the Soul Stone. And Bruce Banner is also on board, so we might see a Hulk fighting in space. Which gives me a giant comic boner. The final scene appearing at the end of the Thor Ragnarok is a comedic one, featuring the Grandmaster in one of his weakest moments. But this will probably not be the end of the Grandmaster's appearance, since he is an immortal elder of the universe, like his brother the Collector. But we can only speculate, as the only time we have seen both the Grandmaster and the Collector together in the MCU is in the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout Ride, or some fan art. We do know that the Collector has the Reality Stone, so that makes his appearance inevitable and will more than likely be taken away from him in the upcoming Avengers Infinity War movie. If you're interested in seeing how Thanos has collected these gems in the past, then you would be glad to know that you can find this epic tale in the comics known as Thanos Quest 1 and 2. These are great stories because they show the courage and intelligence that Thanos possesses, as well as his strategic abilities, or you will find out how he got in possession of all 6 gems. Please feel free to provide your comments below and on our discussion forum at heroiccritic.com. What do you think happens to the ship full of Asgardians? And do you hope to see Man-Thing or Beta Ray Bill make an appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? If we didn't catch some Easter eggs or other references, please let us know. Also, please feel free to subscribe to our channel if you would like to see more Heroic Critic episodes on upcoming superhero media. I'm your host, Ken, the Optimist. See you next time.